What we do have instead, though, is a new Rolls-Royce, and here it is, and it's the 101EX.
Yeah, now it has the same engine as the Phantom, so that's a 450 brake horsepower, 6.75 litre V12, but the body is lighter. It's made of carbon fibre, apart from this bit, which is aluminium.
Yeah, it's shorter than the Phantom, it's lower than the Phantom, and of course it only has 2 doors, which, ready for this, open backwards, so that one may simply step aboard.
And then inside, it's the usual blend of dead animal and rainforest, but with a twist.
Oh yes, if you look up at the ceiling, you will see that it's like the Milky Way. And in fact, riding in the back of this car is a bit like lying in a field in Cornwall in the middle of a very clear night.
It really is a fabulous thing.
It's amazing. And if I was having one, I think, Hammond, I would have the Great Bear.
Yeah, you can even vary the brightness of the constellation. Look, you can turn it up and down.
That is disgusting.
Oh, dear. I fear Jeremy may be heading this way with an opinion.
No, honestly, you can have one of those pinprick light things, OK, on the roof of a limo on a hen night. You cannot have one, OK, in a Rolls-Royce. And you can't have 7-spoke alloys, and you can't have red brake calipers, and you can't have carbon fibre, and look at that. A glass Spirit of Ecstasy with a light bulb up its bottom.
Jeremy, that is brilliant.
No, the Phantom is brilliant, OK? This, if they ever put it into production, and if it has all this stuff on it, will have to be called the Rolls-Royce Vulgar Sonic.
Well, you know.
Exactly, when it comes to vulgar. The other day, we all went to a screening of that new film, Cars. Don't know if you've seen it. We walked in, and he said, yeah, this is a lot like my cinema at home.
Just had a really good idea. Why don't you shut up?
But didn't Ford say that they were going to make an RS version of the Focus with, like, even more lager in it?
Oh, yeah, no, they did. They said it was going to have 300 brake horsepower, it was going to be 4-wheel drive, it was going to have Adidas stripes down the side. Yeah.
So what happened to that?
They couldn't be bothered. What they're actually doing is that.
Oh yes, this is the Iosis. It's a Ford concept car, and I know it looks a bit like a coupe, but it is, in fact, a 4-seat, 4-door family saloon. And the important thing is that this, in essence, is the next Ford Mondeo.
Wow! So the Mondeo is going to have gull-wing doors?
Except that it's not going to have gull-wing doors.
And neoprene seats?
Actually, they're not doing the neoprene seats.
Is it going to have the cameras instead of wing mirrors?
Sadly, they're not going to do the cameras instead of wing mirrors, no.
Will it be able to drive on the ceiling like the ST Focus did in that film we just saw?
No.
Right.
Forget all the gadgetry stuff and all the flim-flam. The important thing is that this is what the next Mondeo will look like. And I think it looks fantastic, doesn't it?
It does. It looks like an Aston Martin.
It does look
Thing is, though, that's then, this is now, and it's time to put our tame racing driver...
Top Gear hasn't been renowned for its love of diesels over the years, and yet the version of this, the C8 that we'd advise you to go for, is the diesel engine one. So 3 very different cars with very different purposes, but all diesels and all very good. So what's next for diesel?
This is the Peugeot RC, possibly the world's first proper diesel sports car. And since there's only one in existence, Peugeot were a little nervous about the Stig having a play. So they sent down their own man, Richard Burns. The RC has all the sports car credentials: carbon fibre body, mid-mounted engine, a 6-speed sequential gearbox, a 0 to 60 time of 6 seconds. And yet Peugeot still claim that it'll do 57 miles to the gallon. So could you, would you take the leap and have a diesel sports car?
Would I buy a diesel car? No. Still, let me cheer you up with a world exclusive. This. This is, I think, the most beautiful car I have ever seen. It doesn't look wrong from any angle. It's the new Aston Martin V8 Vantage. Got a 4.3-litre V8 engine at the front, rear-wheel drive, gearbox at the back for perfect weight distribution. It's light, it's going to be very, very fast, and it'll cost a very reasonable £70,000. Going on sale in 2005. So, have you just ordered a Porsche 911 recently?
Do you know, I think he's right.
Let's have a look at this. Excuse me. This is Italy's newest supercar from Italy's newest supercar maker. It's called a Pagani Zonda, and it is exquisite. It's exquisite on the inside too. Look at this, just a wall of aluminium and chamois leather and carbon fibre, and look at these air vents, like periscopes. Anyone want to see the engine? Yes. Right, well, let's hop out, and we have to... Could you just grab the other side? You have to undo the leather buckle. Very 21st century. Push the little button, OK? And there it is. Look at that. That's a Mercedes-Benz 7.3-litre V12. You want to hear it? Yes. Problem is health and safety, OK? They've told us we mustn't start cars in the studio, all right? But I don't think they'll hear. Ready? Foot in the clutch, Jeremy, that'll help. I think we got away with it. I don't think they heard us. Now, around about 20 years ago, Peugeot made the momentous decision to stop making nice cars and make instead not very nice cars for elderly people.
Yes, but now they've had another change of heart and they've come up with this. It's called the EX1. It's a twin-engined, four-wheel drive electric roadster, and it's... Well, the main purpose of it, really, Hammond, is to break records. Not unlike myself, actually.
Really?
Yeah. Anyway, look at this. You open the door, but when you do, you also get...
A broken wrist?
No, you also get... Look, you get the seat.
Oh, wow!
The seat is part of the climb in.
Half the car comes with it, so I'm actually getting into the door's pocket now,
Yeah,
with all, like, the crisp packets and the change.
Feet up. Get your feet right up.
Well, I put my feet in there.
Yeah, and then...
Oh, yes! Look at this! Hey, that steering wheel is very Batman. It does all that, and that's where the instruments are up on those two screens. That's fantastic, look!
But I have to say, for a Peugeot especially, it looks absolutely fantastic. It's very funky, very... Look at his face. It's very funky and very modern, and you can expect to see this in your local Peugeot dealership. Never. This car is absolutely of its time.
Now, this is what I call shock and awe.
It's hammer time.
I have not been interested in any Cadillac, really, not since '57, and I wasn't born then, so I wasn't particularly interested even then, but this is just amazing, isn't it?
I think it's fabulous. It's stolen the show a bit, hasn't it?
It has. I mean, it has. It's walked all over the Bentley, which is, you know, which we thought would be the king of the hill today. Yeah. Can they make it?
Well, I didn't say this in the film, but this is really just a prototype. It's a sort of experimental car, but they could make it because there's nothing... There's no pie-in-the-sky stuff. It's got a proper engine, it's a proper space frame, it's got a normal interior. They could make it.
Can I see that engine? I know I saw it when you filmed. I just want to see it in real life.
Now, this would be powered on the real version, obviously.
Well, it would be. I know Americans might lose weight if they actually had to do something for themselves.
Hey!
Look at... Where's the propeller?
Yeah.
I mean, it either needs one on the front or on the back. That's how many? 13 and a half?
It's actually 13.6 litres, 1,000 horsepower.
So, what will it take for them to actually put this into production?
Well, I reckon those people I mentioned in the film, like, you know...
Elton and
Posh and Bex and you and Stuart Hall.
Stuart Hall?
Stuart Hall. You ring up Cadillac, whatever their number is, and say, make that car.
So, Stuart, if you're watching tonight, do that. You'll be the talk of Cheshire.
Well, the interesting thing is they're going to do a two-door version of the Phaeton. Kind of. Basically, it's all the technical stuff out of that car in a different body, but with a much better badge. It's this, the Bentley Continental GT, and it is probably the most eagerly anticipated car for decades.
Designed by a Belgian bloke.
Apparently so, yes.
Whose only previous credit was the Skoda Fabia.
Yeah, well, it's a bit of a career jump. It's like an architect doing a garage and then doing the Natural History Museum next week. But
I know, but he can be proud. His mum can be proud.
She can be chuffed.
I mean, look at this interior. Scoop round and get in here. Honestly, it puts me in mind of the old Aston Martin Vantage. You've got bits of feet-on stuff all over everywhere, but there's a sense of absolute luxury and absolute power.
Now, Bentley have said we can't drive it yet because it's not ready, but they're going to have it ready by the end of the year because that's when it's launched. It'll cost 120,000 quid.
Tell them how fast it goes.
Well, absolutely, because 0 to 60 time. This is a big car, remember, a big Bentley, about the size of this building. 0 to 60, 4.8. 4.8 seconds.
Tell them the top speed.
In that.
Top speed.
Top speed. Any ideas? I'll tell you.
Guess.
200.
You get clever. That's what you get.
He's wrong. It's 198 miles an hour.
Yes! Won't do that again.
198
it's
is
incredible.
Phenomenally
but,
fast.
Truth be told, you know, we're not Bentley owners. You're not. I'm certainly not. So we probably could do with the opinion of one.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
And look what we have here. You have a Bentley.
Sort of. I mean,
Sort of. It's a very old one, but it's a Bentley nevertheless. So what do you think of this?
What do I think of that? Well, the engine's good. You
Brilliant.
know that. And it's got 2 turbochargers as well.
Which the Phaeton doesn't have.
Exactly.
So you know it's got 550 brake horsepower. There's 50 more than a Ferrari 575. And the torque.
They put it on the machine and it just ripped the machine apart.
It
so much
turned the
torque.
house that the machine was in upside down and roared off.
Yeah.
So the engine's good.
Yeah. Just a bit.
Right, we like the shape.
Yeah.
We like
Adorable.
the interior.
Yeah.
We like the ashtray action.
Yeah.
I haven't actually looked in the boot, but...
It's going to be good, I'm sure. I mean,
Yeah.
it's really not stacking up to be a recipe for disaster, this thing, is it? It's looking good.
We're going to be testing it, obviously, in the next series.
I'm going to be testing it in the next series.
Actually, it's I think, the opinion of a younger guy.
It's a heavy car, it needs a heavy driver.
It's a gentleman's car.
It's a young man's Bentley, clearly.
We
I think
will be testing it, and I will be telling you what it's like in the next series.
This is the Peugeot Onyx. It is, of course, just a concept car, but it's quite interesting. You'll notice that a lot of it is made out of raw copper, which is an ideal material for making a car because it's very cheap. It is, of course, extremely strong, and it doesn't go green in the rain. The engine is a 600 horsepower, 3.7 litre turbocharged V8 diesel. It's actually, in essence, the engine from Peugeot's diesel Le Mans car.
No question. You see, the thing is, if you get the diesel, you still get that amazing screen that allows you to make movies. But there's so much more to it than that. For obvious reasons, you can't watch a DVD while you're driving along, for example, OK? But if we look at this, OK, the passenger here is looking at a DVD, yes? You can see that. But if we look at the screen from where I'm sitting, it's satellite navigation. Same screen, look at this. I see sat-nav. Where the passenger is sitting, they can see a DVD. On the same screen, now, I'm sorry, come back again, look, sat-nav. This is the most amazing thing I've ever seen in my life.
And it doesn't end there either, does it? Because those cameras you were talking
Oh, no, you well remembered, I'd forgotten. Look at this.
Yeah,
so you can see, OK. We zoom in, OK, zoom in like this. So we zoom in, and then you can move it up.
You can actually look at that.
Look at that!
Let's get it better by the sec. It's Lexcam! That's brilliant!
Curve vision!
Who invented that?
That is curve vision. Yes!
That is just genius!
Would you like to go round the back?
Sorry, mate? Oh, yes, the camera's at the back.
Look at the back. Look at the back. Zoom in.
And if I...
In. No! No, look what you've done!
I'm sorry.
That's disgusting!
Sorry.
Now look,
He looks like the Mekong.
That's a disappointment.
if you two could just stop mucking around for a minute, I've got quite a serious point to make over here. If you want to spend more money on your Range Rover, for Pete's sake, don't spend it trying to make it go faster, because you'll ruin it. Instead, why not spend it on making it a bit more luxurious? Now, a company called Overfinch has collaborated with Holland & Holland, the gun makers, to produce this.
Yeah, now, it's still a Range Rover, so inside you've got the clever, amazing witchcraft screen and everything, but a bit more. So, for instance, this wood, here, you've got this marquetry work in it. Lovely. And then these panels on the steering wheel, you can have these custom engraved to match your own shotguns, obviously.
Now, the leather is the stuff they use on the very finest business jets. And in the back, you do lose a seat, but instead, you get this piece of furniture from the bedroom of Louis XIV. More exquisite marquetry. In here, there is some nice cut glass. And down here, there is a refrigerator. And it is a refrigerator, not merely a slightly chilly cubbyhole. The cost of all this is £139,000.
Now, that is a lot of money. But then this car does come with the best optional extra ever fitted to any car in the whole of human history, I think I'm right in saying?
Yeah, no, you're right.
Yes.
That, it is.
OK, it's this chest here in the back. In this drawer here, we find, OK, there is space for your gun. This particular gun in this one, get a brace of these, they actually cost more than the car does. No, seriously. OK, so that's the guns, right, on this side. And what goes with guns? You're right, drink. And so, in here we find the glasses, the vodka, the whiskey, obviously the champagne. Paul Roger is in the fridge in the car itself. And here is the really amazing bit. This is what's called a self-replenishing drinks cabinet. For the first year you own the car, when your drink supplies are getting low, they come round and top them up free of charge.
Wow! Wow!
Do I have to buy the car, or can I just have the self-replenishing drinks cabinet?
Honestly, I tell you what, if I bought this car, the diesel in the tank after 1 year would be exactly the same as it was when it came.
It was still in the same field. I tried drinking the diesel, but then the man arrived with more champagne. I just want one of those.
No, it is. I mean, really and truthfully, this is the car to buy if you are sensible or if you're drunk. But the best of them all is so good, we've actually brought it into the studio. Look, it's down here. It's unbelievable, this. It's a replica of a Mercedes C9. Now, that, Hammond, was the car that won the 24-hour Le Mans race in 1989. And it's so amazing, I've actually brought out the man who built it. Ladies and gentlemen, give him a warm hand. Johan Ackerman! Thank you so much for coming. It is... Can I just ask, Johan, how did you get the styling to work?
Well, Jeremy, there was no drawings on the internet, so I got a book on the dimensions, but the closest I could get was a 132 scale model.
So hang on, so you measured your toy car,
yes,
multiplied it by 32,
yes,
and built a full-size one?
Yep.
That's how you did it?
And is it road legal?
Fully road legal.
So
It's
this
got
is
its
a real
own
car,
VIN
it's not a
numbers, everything, yeah.
How long did you spend building this?
From start to roadworthy was 16 months.
Right. Was there or is there a marriage to have survived this?
Well, I hope so. My wife is here, so it must be a good sign.
Hello, patient lady.
Well, it's a remarkable achievement, and well done. Ladies and gentlemen, Johan Ackerman, thank you. That's brilliant. Now, good idea to have a look at AC, Britain's oldest surviving car maker. Obviously, they're best known for the Cobra, which is here with a new supercharged engine. But the big news is this Ace. It's available for the first time with a hardtop, new interior, more horsepower, and a carbon fibre bonnet. The price has gone up to a whopping £75,000, but it's a nice car. Smooth. Stylish. If you have no friends, how about this single-seat V8 supercharged Rinspeed Mono Ego, which was designed by French couturier Jean-Charles de Castelbajac. Now, that's all very well, but think about it the other way around. If Gordon Murray, who did the McLaren, suddenly took it upon himself to design an item of clothing, he might come up with a shell suit. It's a concept which Rover have brought along to show how they're thinking. It's fantastic. It's got a little 3-cylinder engine which is mounted under the rear seat. Now, by putting it there, you get better crash protection at the front, and you end up with a mid-engined, rear-wheel drive, wheel at each corner sports car. Of course, if you want practicality, there's a 5-door version which has more space on the inside than a 7 Series BMW. You know, all the technology needed to build these cars is available right now. So, Rover, what are you waiting for? There's the usual round of stupid, whimsical concept cars here, but we've managed to find some intelligent ones. Alfa Romeo has built a chassis to which coach builders can bolt any body they see fit. This is one they've done in-house. It's just gorgeous. But the biggest story in GT racing starts here with this American-made Panos Roadster. Now, Panos decided they wanted to enter Le Mans and quickly discovered that this car would be about as competitive as a Nissan Sunny. They therefore came over to England and asked a company called Reynard if they could build them a vehicle with a bit more stuff. This is what they came up with, and this is the car they'll actually be racing at Le Mans this year. Now, the most amazing thing is not its extraordinary style or its 6-litre V8 engine or even the fact it doesn't have a back window. No, the most amazing thing is the team boss, Michael Barrymore.
Can I have a proper car now, please?
Ah, that'll do. The Dodge Charger, a proper muscle car and a descendant of the original, launched in 1968. The original Charger coated the entire American road network with rubber. True to form, this one has a supercharged 4.7-litre V8, rear-wheel drive and 5 on the floor. Great. Fill her up, John Boy.
What on earth are you doing, man?
Sir, I'm filling her up with CNG, sir.
Now, this is confusing. The Americans call petrol gas, but this car really does run on gas, CNG, or compressed natural gas. The result is, this car is so clean it qualifies as an ultra-low emissions vehicle. You could even drive it in pollution-paranoid California, where it's against federal law to break wind in public. Not that Americans do that, of course. Natural gas is a fuel that, you will remember, is very abundant in Britain. Is that near Egypt? The interior appears to have been designed by Chuck Yeager. He wasn't happy with the normal gear knob, so he used the joystick from one of his fighter aircraft instead. So why am I driving like a big Jessie? Because I'm not allowed to thrash these one-off experimental jobs. So there you go, 55 miles an hour. Yee-haw. But so far, these have just been retakes on good old American iron. I've come a long way. Show me something different. Hello, what's this? Bored with your luxury sports saloon, but don't fancy a big fat four-wheel drive? You want a Chrysler Citadel. It has a hybrid power plant and a hybrid shape, half sports coupe, half four-wheel drive. So they're calling it a hybrid, probably named by a bloke from Baden-Baden.
The Americans, as we know, are the laziest people on the planet. It's not just that they won't walk anywhere anymore. They're also beginning to find opening the car door a bit too much trouble. So we get a remote control. But there is a good civic-minded reason for all this. This is the first sports hybrid, whatever it is, that can be driven by someone in a wheelchair.
The rear door's also remote control, so you can forklift your GM foods directly into the boot. The trunk.
Under the bonnet is a V6 petrol engine of 253 horsepower, driving the rear wheels. Nothing unusual about that. But there's also a 70 horsepower electric motor connected to the front wheels. Now, in normal driving like this, we're just using the V6. It's like a perfectly normal car. But if you're braking, going down a long hill, for example, the system becomes regenerative. What this means is that the kinetic energy of... Are you listening to this? Yes, you, sir, reclining on your sofa. This might be the future. Now, sit up and pay attention. The kinetic energy of the car, that is the energy it has because it's moving, is converted into electrical energy and stored in the batteries. Then, when you get to a nice straight bit and you put your foot down, the electric motor cuts in as well, giving you a bit of extra shove. And to be honest, I can't actually feel it happening.
So, the chances of any of these cars making it into production? Nil. So is it a waste of time? No. The point is to show that green thinking on engine technology needn't mean dull cars. Hurrah!
Meanwhile, news reaches me of some Americans working on a family car that can fly.